And amid the looming talks with the United States, a report by the Times UK has claimed that for the first time, Iran has transferred long-range missiles to its proxy forces in Iraq, further increasing its foothold in the region. And these new batch of weapons were reportedly transferred just last week and include the devastating Quds 351 cruise and Jamal 69 ballistic missiles that have a range varying from 400 to 800 kilometers and can reportedly put several European countries in its radar. Besides Israel, according to the report, in fact, the transfer of weapons to Iraq-based Shia militias was overseen by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard's Air Force. Iran's proxy forces in Iraq can be traced back to the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003. It's important to note here that these developments contradict reports from earlier this week itself claiming that several Iran-backed militias in Iraq had agreed to disarm to avert conflict with America. Shifting focus for now, tensions between Iran and Israel are inching dangerously close to a full-blown confrontation, it seems. And at the heart of it all lies a terrifying prospect, the potential ignition of a nuclear firestorm. As the United States and Iran are preparing for indirect talks in Oman, the future of Iran's nuclear ambitions remaining the focal point, and Washington and Tel Aviv continue to demand a complete halt to Iran's nuclear aspirations. Tehran, however, has slammed the door shut on that possibility, sending a clear message that Iran will not back down. Now, these developments don't really come in isolation. The Persian Gulf, after all, is getting increasingly militarized. The U.S. has deployed 2 aircraft carrier strike groups. P-2 stealth bombers sit on standby in Diego Garcia, while advanced air defense squadrons have been deployed across strategic points in West Asia. Iran, on the other hand, has put its armed forces on high alert. Tehran, in fact, has activated long-range radar systems and fortified missile batteries along the Strait of Hormuz, a critical shipping route for global oil. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has made it clear that Iran's nuclear program is not up for negotiation. Now, Iran's foreign ministry spokesman has also explicitly stated that Iran will continue developing its nuclear infrastructure regardless of Western pressure. And just a few hours ago, the Iranian president, Masoud Pezeshkian, said that Iran was holding indirect talks with the U.S. over Tehran's nuclear program. Listen in.
We are holding talks. As the Supreme Leader has stated, we are engaging indirectly with dignity and pride, and with every assurance necessary to show that we are not pursuing a nuclear bomb. They have come 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times to investigate, and they can come investigate again. We have not been, are not, and will not be pursuing a nuclear bomb.
Meanwhile, senior Iranian officials have also told Reuters that as long as Israel maintains a stockpile of nuclear warheads, Iran will never consider nuclear disarmament. In the latest coming in, the United States has announced new sanctions targeting Iran's nuclear program. The Treasury Department said it was imposing sanctions on 5 entities, including the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department reiterated that Iran will never be allowed to build a nuclear bomb.
It is made very clear, and certainly the Secretary has made very clear, that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, it's just that I think is the focus right now, the nature of what's happened and Iran's current situation.
The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu went even a step further, demanding dismantling of Iran's nuclear infrastructure based on the Libya model.
We agree that Iran will not have nuclear weapons. This can be done in an agreement, but only if this agreement is a Libya-style agreement, that they go in, blow up the facilities, dismantle all the equipment under American supervision and American execution. That would be good.
And Netanyahu did not stop there, by the way, warning that the alternative, in Netanyahu's words, is military operation becoming inevitable. But what is the Libya-style model really that Netanyahu is talking about? It refers to the early 2000s disarmament deal under the then Libyan leader, Muammar Gaddafi, when Libya surrendered its nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief. Meanwhile, Iran has made it clear that threats and coercion will not work.
Our main goal in these talks is obviously to secure the rights of the Iranian people and to get the sanctions lifted. If the other side genuinely wants to work things out, I believe that goal is within reach. It really doesn't matter whether the talks are direct or indirect. Right now, we prefer to keep them indirect.
And while the negotiations linger on, in the backdrop is the U.S. intelligence claim that Iran may have assembled a team of nuclear scientists tasked with developing a crude, accelerated path to a nuclear weapon, claiming that if Tehran gives the green light, Iran could reach nuclear capacity within months. And as Israel and Iran are locked in this high-stakes duel over nuclear supremacy, for millions, not just in West Asia, but around the world in a way, the fear remains that one misstep, one miscalculation, and the consequences could be catastrophic. We will, of course, keep a close eye on those developments coming in. Meanwhile, Russian forces launched a massive drone attack on Ukraine overnight. At least 55 drones were launched. They targeted Ukrainian cities of Dnipro, Kharkiv, Kramatorsk, triggering fires and injuring at least 17 people. In fact, Kharkiv authorities said that waves of Shahid-type attack drones caused at least 20 explosions in the city. Just have a look at these images on your screen, looking like a scene straight out of an apocalyptic movie. In the aftermath of the attack, in fact, the Ukrainian emergency services battled fires and cleared debris. Kharkiv, which is Ukraine's second largest city, has been hit by drone attacks nearly every evening over the past week.
This is our enemy's new tactic, to frighten the civilians. This is civilian infrastructure of the city. These are production enterprises. These are Kharkiv's business people. Of course, they are scared. Also, when people go to sleep in the night, when children go to sleep, and they encounter such strong strikes, the goal is to frighten the people.
And Kharkiv is located 20 miles from the Russian border. It remains a distance from the front lines, but it has seen its share of attacks over the last 3 years. Russian forces first occupied large parts of Kharkiv in the first few months of the war, but Ukraine was able to reclaim the city in a counter-offensive. Attacks on Kharkiv have remained constant, by the way, and the past few weeks things have gotten worse. Last week itself, there were 4 separate attacks on Kharkiv, including one that killed 4 and injured 35. On Wednesday, Ukrainian forces are not only feeling the pressure on Kharkiv, but on the entire northeastern front line. On Wednesday, an attack on Dnipro in southeastern Ukraine sparked a fire, damaged houses and cars, injuring 15 people. The attack damaged 4 high-rise residential buildings, 15 private residences, in addition to an administrative building and infrastructure. The Ukrainian Air Force saying that it shot down 32 out of 55 drones launched by Russia overnight, and that another 8 did not reach their targets, most likely because of electronic countermeasures. Listen in.
It was around 10:30 p.m. Good that everyone was home. There was an air raid alert. Good thing that everyone was either in the tambor between apartments or in the corridor. The windows and doors were flying around. The damages and injuries were significant.
My family took shelter behind 2 walls. I, being either brave or stupid, decided to open the window. I came to the window, opened it, and heard a Shahed approaching. The sound was growing so rapidly that I got scared and ran behind the wall. As soon as I got there was an explosion.
Now, Ukraine says the Russian forces launched an offensive in Sumy and Kharkiv regions several days ago. Just a month ago, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, in fact, had claimed that Russia was readying a new attack on the Sumy region, which borders Russia's Kursk region. Ukraine says that Russia is trying to create a buffer zone in Kharkiv and Sumy, as well as in northern Ukraine's Chernihiv region. The Russian President Vladimir Putin reportedly proposed establishing a so-called buffer zone in Sumy to safeguard its Kursk region from future attacks. Remember, Ukraine launched a surprise incursion into the Kursk region in August last year, but a Russian counter-offensive in recent months has gradually chipped away at its hold over. And let's now talk about a significant leap in India's military capabilities. The Indian government has green-lighted a high-value defense agreement with France, clearing the path to acquire 26 Rafale marine fighter aircraft for the Indian Navy. According to reports, under the deal that could be signed in the coming weeks, the Indian Navy will reportedly receive 22 single-seat Rafale marine jets, along with 4 twin-seat variants, all at a cost of over 63,000 crore rupees, or around $7.3 billion US. The agreement also includes a long-term fleet maintenance plan, extensive logistical support, training programs for the naval personnel, and other key components that will be made in India. The Cabinet Committee on Security, chaired by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, approved the procurement of these jets. These jets are designed specifically for aircraft carriers. The Rafale Marine can operate from the decks of India's 2 operational carriers, the INS Vikramaditya and INS Vikrant. These jets will gradually replace the aging fleet of MiG-29K fighters that currently serve aboard both the vessels. The first of the jets expected to arrive around late 2029, while the entire fleet will be inducted by 2031. Now, the Rafale Marine is no ordinary fighter. It is specifically designed for naval warfare. The Rafale M variant is built for maritime operations and features reinforced landing gear, strengthened airframes, tailhooks to ensure short takeoffs and landings on aircraft carriers. India selected the Rafale Marine over the American-made Boeing FA-18 Super Hornet after thorough evaluations, with compatibility being a major factor. The Rafale M shares a high degree of commonality, approximately 80%, with the Indian Air Force's existing Rafale fleet. That means simpler maintenance, shared training modules, and reduced logistical complexity. Like its Air Force sibling, the Rafale Marine carries a wide mission profile. It can execute deep strike missions, conduct air defense operations, and perform high-value reconnaissance. It also has the ability to engage in air-to-air and air-to-ground combat at the same time. Both variants use the powerful radar to track and target. Besides, we also know that its missile arsenal include long-range Meteor air-to-air missiles and the precision-guided Hammer air-to-surface munitions. The carrier-based Rafale M does come with some structural enhancements. It features foldable wings for easier storage aboard ships and a nose wheel that extends during short takeoffs, crucial for catapult or these additions make the Rafale Marine slightly heavier than the Air Force version. With these fighters in its fleet, the Indian Navy gains significantly in reach, flexibility, and deterrence power at sea.